guys, welcome to the live. I'm cooking. This is new for you guys, but I did a live earlier and it seemed like it wouldn't save, but I felt like it was really powerful because most of my audience on this platform is based in the US. So I wanted to come on. Hopefully I'm back. Okay, welcome to the live, guys. This is new for me. You guys are seeing me actively doing a thing because my duty today is to clean, but my live earlier didn't save and I just felt like it was really powerful. Hi, looks like the live is pausing. But I want to just address everybody's concern around DEI, being stressed, being concerned, because there's a lot of change happening, but I really want to shift your perspective. Go ahead and type a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. What's up, Tyron? What's up? So I know this is new. You guys are seeing me do something. Usually I'm sitting still. But I promised everyone I was going to cook today. So I'm cooking after the Indaba. So if you saw me live earlier, I was at the mining conference, which is like a global event for, hi Shar, for people in the mining industry, which is huge. So let me just show you guys. So like we in the US, we have something called Lowry seasoning salt. But in South Africa, they have things called like barbecue spice, shisa nyama, right? Shisa nyama is like grilling. Shisa is the grilling. Nyama is meat. Shisa nyama, barbecue spice. Steaks and chops. Braai, so they call barbecue, the borders called barbecue braai. Or shisa nyama, right? Braai. So this is like their seasoning salt. So I'm just making a pot of bolognese, guys. Nothing too fancy. For my family of like, how many of us are there? 6. So I wanted to make something before they came. So welcome to the live. Listen, I want you guys to have just an interesting perspective of what you can do in a time of uncertainty, because things are going to continue to be more uncomfortable before they get comfortable. But this is a time where you need to be very intentional about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay? So I have notes, because I always have notes. And while I know you guys are frustrated, it is a very frustrating time. I just want to challenge you with a different perspective of, instead of fighting to be included, what if you were empowered, right? So instead of fighting, right, to be included in spaces that were never meant for your comfort, or designed for you specifically, you chose to go where you were valued. Imagine. And so what does that mean to you? What does true inclusion mean to you? Because we can't think that this is something that was going to be permanent. As the world begins to change, nothing is permanent. Nothing is certain except for change. So I just want to offer this perspective shift. And so if you're new to this platform, please go ahead and share this with someone that would also find value in it. Because maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I'm currently in South Africa, but I used to live in the US. I was in these really big DEI spaces, working on inclusion, working with brands, on connecting with the culture. And if I'm being honest, it was always about money. So one thing that Black people in America do is spend. Your purchasing power is powerful. However, as the decline continues to happen and Black people are continuously affected and impacted by economic shifts, that is going away. And so I'm not going to say it in this way, but what I learned from working in marketing in these corporate spaces was the only reason why Black Americans were targeted was because they would spend their money. And now that that is not the focus, that's being stripped and taken away, right? But the power of choice, right? We have to just be aware of these things, not be emotional, not be stressed out, not keep up the fight, right? Because our ancestors have been fighting for 450 years. How long are we supposed to continue to fight, right? When do we get to live? When do we get to enjoy our life and not die a life of fighting and inclusion? Fighting to be recognized by a community that never really wanted us around other than for working capital in the first place. That's still the case. And so I just really want to share a little bit about my backstory. You know, like I mentioned, I worked in the corporate space my entire career, almost 20 years. Went from the entertainment industry to the beverage industry, then economic development, then technology, taking the things that I learned in entertainment and beverage into these corporate spaces to be able to connect with the Black consumer. Why? Because of their buying power. Not because of their ingenuity, not because of their authority, not because of their resilience, but because of their buying power, right? And now that's not the focus. So I stopped asking for permission. When I made the move to the continent, the first place was Tanzania, East Africa. I stopped asking for permission. I started sharing what I wanted to share on YouTube about economic development, opportunities. I started talking about the availability of commerce and industry in parts of Africa. And I started tapping into my geopolitical economic bag because that's what I'm into, right? I'm into that. I value the information that is shared in those spaces. And I started sharing that because I was passionate about it. And I'm so passionate clearly about Africa because I've created entire platforms for it. Not just because of, the lineage, but the freedom, the peace, the opportunity to just be in spaces where we're respected and loved and received, right? So yeah, I see you guys commenting. Hi, sis. Let's see, any questions here? This is gonna go, those who actually are fearless and arrogant always live lives according to their own terms. I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe tell me more. Black people are not living because they are always waiting for someone to come and save them for themselves. All right, I hope you're not trolling, and I hope you're finding sensitivity. Hi, mommy. I hope you're finding sensitivity in what people are dealing with because it's a real thing. It's a real thing. But we have to be empowered to make some decisions. So I just want you to consider, what if you decided to shift your geographical situation to say, I want to be in a place where I'm valued. I want to be in a place where I'm respected. And I don't have to force myself to fit in. I don't have to force everyone around me to fit in. Okay? I decided I wanted to live a life where I didn't have to justify my worth and I could do things on my own terms. And we get to do that because we are infinite, very powerful beings. Okay? Very, very powerful with a full opportunity to do what feels great to us. Okay? So the opportunities that exist abroad, there are so many. There are so many, and people will say, oh, well, entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. It's hard. It's not easy. And no one is saying this is an easy thing. I'm just saying it's an option because what we're experiencing also isn't easy, right? What had just happened? And I'm like looking at this filter like, what is this? My lips are looking, but okay, whatever. We'll deal with it. We'll run with it. And this is exactly why I created the Africa Investors Academy. When I did almost 3 years ago, Because access to information is what is happening and what we need during the biggest wealth transfer in the history of time. While we're also experiencing the golden age of Africa. And so there is no time to wait, get distracted, get down, get grieving. You know, it's exactly why I foster and I promote entrepreneurship. Because depending on these contracts, these government entities, you know, I work with a lot of people that are relocating and working in DEI, and listen, I just don't subscribe to it. I don't think you're going to find a job abroad. And if you do, you're going to get sent back when they decide that you're no longer needed. AI and things that are technology is disrupting the world and every industry because you're dispensable. If you work at an organization, the likelihood of that being a permanent situation is very, very low. And this is not, again, to rain on your parade, and I know everyone's situation is different, but I am saying that overall, you have an opportunity to take things into your own hands. Okay? So, you know, we've been conditioned to believe that there's only one path to success, and it's not true. We've been conditioned to believe that we're meant to work really, really hard for 50 years and then retire on whatever is said that we're going to have to live. And that's when we go after our passions. That's when we do the things that are meant to be done. But it's just not true. So what's next? Will you keep waiting for policies to change? Are you thinking that this is only going to be the next 4 years? Because I want you to really take a clear look at the shift that is happening globally. And Americans, we have a tendency to be very focused on our country, while the rest of the world is looking at the world. And we don't realize that we don't live in an isolated experience. We are interconnected. But that is not a bad thing. That's an amazing thing. And as an American, the privileges of being abroad, you don't even get to experience in your own country. So I just want you to reconsider what it could look like if you took matters into your own hands and went into an environment wherever you were valued and not just tolerated, right? Whether through relocation or international investment, or just taking a trip abroad for an extended period of time. There are options, real ones, beyond the corporate space and corporate structures that are pulling back. I really want to know how long y'all are going to be able to boycott, right? Because you're living in this environment. How long are you going to boycott? Let me run and get some sauce, guys. Give me a second. Yes. Give me a second. I want to see what you guys are saying. Let's be honest, most Black people are not financially stable and are capable to free themselves to get to the right places amongst the right people that values them. I'm tired of that argument because at the same time, Black Americans will tout their spending power, having the highest spending power of over $3 trillion. So how is it that we are not financially stable, yet we are the largest consumers of goods? So I'm not for that. That's an excuse and a limiting belief. Charlene says AI has truly changed education. Teachers' allocations have demised due to AI-generated education. This not only affects jobs, it affects the overall. Absolutely. And I just don't want us to, but there's innovation and opportunity, right? Opportunity with AI. And that's something that we have to shift, right? There's always good and opportunity. there's challenges and opportunity at the same time. So even with AI, the ability to be an entrepreneur is even easier than it's ever been because of AI. The ability to be a solopreneur is even more possible. But this is true, Shar. I was talking to a brilliant young man who is in computer science, getting his degree. He's in finance. He uses ChatGPT to do all of his homework. And the reason why that is scary is because going into the finance industry, there will no longer be a need for bookkeeping and accounting because technology can do it for you. But there are certain skill sets that are needed despite AI. Tourism, right? People still need relationships, mining, real estate sales, construction development, right? These are the industries that we focus on at the Africa Investors Academy Virtual Summit, right? We focus on these industries specifically because these are the industries that need people that are not going away because of technology, that are actually growing. But in environments where people are trying to minimize on labor, right, it's the technology is changing the industry. You're right. I understand what you're saying, Shar, and you're right. It is changing the work industry, which means we have to innovate. We have to shift. We have to learn new skills. We can't be afraid about what is changing. We can't try to fight what is happening because we've been fighting the same fight for 450 years, right? So it's not working. But what we can do is liberate ourselves, learn more skills, shift our environments to places where we're valued, not just tolerated. Because it's barely toleration at this point. Is that even a word? It's barely toleration. You guys are seeing this vintage setup at my friend's home. It's a bit vintage, but it's lovely. It is absolutely lovely. Right? So that's the thing. How do we focus on the opportunities at hand versus the fear of what is changing? What did she say? MJB said it was. What didn't she say it was? Queen. No drama? Mary J. Blige said it was. I don't know. I don't get the joke. I missed it. So I want you to ask yourself, what is true inclusion feel like for you? What does that look like? What does it look like? Because, toleration. No, that's right. That's right. She did say it. It's not even giving toleration at this point. It's like we don't care. Between history being erased, books being destroyed, holidays being destroyed and no longer acknowledged, right? These are the things that are clearly saying we don't care. And I just would love for my people to say, you know what? I'm good. I'm cool. Let me just get my little monies, take it to a place it's gonna go stronger. I'm gonna go into an environment where I am valued and my financial dollars, my financial power goes farther. Yeah, sure, I agree. I'm not about this, we don't have the resources. We are allocating them however we want. And I know everyone's really happy about Beyonce winning her Grammy after 25 years. I'm happy for her too. but I want you to be happy for yourself. Everybody's discussing the entertainers and how they're showing up and they're getting their flowers. You deserve your flowers too. You work hard. You've been through so much. You're coming through. You do so much for everyone else. When is it your opportunity to thrive? When is it your opportunity to be valued and cherished and loved and appreciated? Right? When is it your time? This filter is blowing me, and so is this fly. And so that's why we created the Africa Investors Academy. When I started, I really was just building and teaching along the way. And I'm still just building and teaching along the way because I don't know everything there is to know. But I do think that there's an opportunity for us to all learn in spaces that are not in the public forum. Because what we've learned about history is when we all gather and aggregate in some spaces, it's very easy to create dissension amongst those spaces. And there's still dissension amongst this space on my YouTube channel and all of that. There's still that, but we can at least exchange information in a way that is going to allow credible experts and vetted experts to be able to share their experience, their expertise, and their opportunities. Because that's really the challenge. I think most people, not only are they fearing, okay, how am I going to do the thing? They think that everything on this side of the world is scams and it's not real and everybody, so I've been able to create this bridge for my people specifically to be able to do business in a way that allows them to connect to people that are credible. I'm doing all of the work for you. I'm attending the Indabas. I'm attending the conferences. I'm vetting and having the discovery calls with different business owners, investors, real estate agents, developers, attorneys, to be able to sift through who's who, right? Who's not, so that we can be successful. We can find success in that. Because it's true, right? Not everybody is for us. Not everybody wants us to win. Not everybody wants us to be successful. But that's why we have to take things into our own hands. I'm back, guys. I'm back. We have to be able to be intentional about what our future looks like. And it's not waiting around for policy to change. I'm sorry, that's just not it. That's just not it. All right, so let's figure out if you've got some questions. Listen, you don't need permission to thrive. You just need to go where you're treated best, okay? And I'm so excited. I've got some really insightful, exciting announcements. But if you're joining us at the Africa Investors Academy, you're going to get virtual summit. You're going to get a sneak peek into that. I really appreciate you guys being patient with me and joining me during this live where I'm like moving all about and doing all of the things. I've got some fun stuff happening. So I needed to make sure I got some food on the table for the family. You guys are having some really interesting dialogue, so I hope you're staying on topic. But I appreciate you joining. Let me know what some of your questions are about making the shift. Okay, so thank you. This is not my place. I'm a guest at someone's home, but it is very lovely, isn't it? You're asking, are my kids homeschooled? My youngest daughter is homeschooled. My oldest daughter is in boarding school. What is your concern? You're a teacher. If you're a virtual school teacher, your concern is your daughter's education. Why? You are a teacher. So why would your daughter's education not be taken care of? I'm just confused. One of the things I know we do really well as Black people is we gonna be afraid of some stuff. We gonna have fear, it's unwarranted fear. Yes, I read somebody said, our body does teach us to fear based on what our brain does that says, okay, this isn't safe for us. A lion may be chasing us, right? Because when we were indigenous people living in indigenous lands, we needed indicators to tell us things weren't safe. But we literally have access to the more information that we've ever had in the history of access, but our fear is so debilitating that it will literally keep us from living, right? So as a teacher, you are afraid of your daughter's education not being successful, but you are an educated teacher, right? I'm not a teacher. I was a bit concerned about my daughter's education when I decided to homeschool, but what I've learned is that education and access to information is everywhere for free. It's my responsibility to educate my daughter based on the opportunities that exist and will exist for her versus the education system that is currently not equipping children for what is happening in the world. I teach entrepreneurship to my girls because that is the only option. It's the only option. Journey to Inspire. Are you self-employed? Do you do the homeschooling or do you pay someone? I am self-employed. I do school with my daughter, but I also pay someone to fill in the gaps. But I teach entrepreneurship. I teach autonomy. I teach independence. I teach agency, because these are the things, empathy. These are the things that actually make us successful. It's not necessarily, there's an awesome community. Okay. And then acknowledge, okay, so if you're asking for advice, right? Network, okay. So I'll say this, my daughter's also very social. And she's 6, so she would much rather be in social environments. I make it a priority to socialize with other parents and do, this filter is like blowing me, honey. I don't like it. Okay, there we go. Ooh, who's blowing me? I make it a point to be social with other children. I make it a point to have a community around me of other mothers so that my child can be interactive with other children. I'm intentional about that. Yeah, so Charlene is in the comments. She is a principal. And so I hear you. But then what is your why? So my question to you would be your why. Because what we can do really well is we can focus on a fear that we have and give all of the weight to that one thing. But then when we have a solution to it, we'll shift. So what is your why? You love her school. It's very diverse and awesome. Okay, well then maybe it's not something that you really want to do. It's got to be a conviction that you feel in your heart so much that nothing else will do. So that's the only feedback I have for you. If we just simply apply the knowledge of actions and successful goal. I don't know. And listen, I'm not saying I am the blueprint. I'm not saying that because I'm not special. I just decided to go for it. And every day I keep going for it. Every day is a new opportunity to fail and to be better. And I keep having those experiences, right? I'm not the blueprint. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that there is an option. There is an alternative to what we're doing because we feel so stuck in it. And your 5-year-old daughter is 5. She has the rest of her life ahead of her. But the best thing that you can do for her is be a happy, joyful, healthy mom, whatever that looks like. And that's what I know for sure. right? I know that for sure. When I was giving my children a great education at a diverse institution, but I was only spending 15 hours a week with them because I'm working 60 hours a week to be able to pay for the lifestyle that I'm living in a country that is having increasing costs of living, which is happening all over the world, right? But I can live in an environment where the cost of living is still accessible to me, and I can spend triple amounts of that time with my family because I value her that much. I value them that much. So it's just really about your values. Are you happier to keep her, in a place where she's spending more time there than with you? Or did I answer your question? And this is all coming from love, and I hope that you are, taking it with love. And I don't mean it. Yeah, you just need to be strategic and fully planned. You're so right about our fears. Yes, okay, amazing, Star. Thank you so much for receiving that feedback and that love. Be strategic, but know that it's in your decision. Everyone thinks that you have to have this 5-year plan. And yes, while planning is important, things can change. Things can go different than planned. It happened to me. I failed, I got back up. I failed, I got back up. And that's just really where you have to be confident in your ability to get back up. Yes, thank you so much. I love the love happening in these comments. I appreciate you all so much. And I just want you to know that you don't need permission to thrive. You don't need anyone's permission to thrive. You don't need anyone's permission to thrive. You get to live the life that you desire. Because guess what? We only have one. We only have one, and we only get to do this one time. There is no do-over. There's no dress rehearsal, guys. This is all we got. This is all we got. So let's not waste it grieving systems and structures that are not intended for our peace, our ease, our comfort. Let's take it by the horns and say, you know what? I'm going to go where I'm treated best. I'm going to decide to do what I've always wanted to do, because I value myself. I trust myself. I trust my ability to be and do and be who I'm meant to be. Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is definitely it's a journey, and I appreciate all of you. If you want the link to the summit, go ahead and comment summit on the live. If you're in the replay, play it back. I mean, this was a new style of doing something for you guys. I appreciate your flexibility. I appreciate your all of that. Yeah, we can go ahead and take a contributor. Might as well. Would love to have you on. I've not done that in a while. Let's see. Class Cosmo. Let's see. Class Cosmo, are you joining? Let's see. Let me close this. Okay. I guess you're not joining. Class Cosmo, come on if you'd like. But if you're ready to learn new opportunities, explore new opportunities, go ahead and drop Summit in the comments, and you'll get the link to the Africa Investors Academy Virtual Summit. We're going to be going over opportunities that exist in tourism. Listen, my friend just dropped our kids off at a play date. Their house, their estate is massive, and they do tourism, African tourism. So we're talking tourism, guys. We're talking real estate, mining, creative industries. There is an opportunity outside of your norm, but you've got to be willing to trust yourself and go for it. And I want to see you guys win. And I don't want to see you waste away your life worrying about policy and some guy that's trying to convince the world that he's the all-powerful being. Because you are all-powerful. You are made and created in the image of the most powerful creator that ever was, that created everything that we have today. All right? So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining the live. Share this with someone who would find value in it. I cannot wait to see you at the Africa Investors Academy Virtual Summit. This is our second year, actually our third year, and it's going to be transformative. We've got so much positive feedback. We have some amazing experts sharing their expertise this year. You're not going to want to miss it. So I'll see you on the next one, and go ahead and comment if you're joining the replay. Any questions that you have, I'll be happy and sure to answer them. All right, guys. See you soon.